start it off with what is a game changer and what we do. I would say we are a group of people who are selected by EA, DICE, or Visceral in some case to give feedback during development as a fresh set of eyes during the process of development in order to enhance a game based on our community experiences.
Yeah, I mean, like the Game Changer program didn't really just start with Battlefield Hardline. I mean, like for Battlefield, it was Hardline was the first game in the Battlefield franchise to have a Game Changer program. But I mean, EA has been using the Game Changer program for a long time now. I mean, they've been using it in EA Sports over in Orlando and in the Tiburon office, and they've been the Game Changer program has been growing and growing and growing. But I don't think anyone really heard of the Game Changer program until 2 years ago with Battlefield Hardline when it was kind of going through its development process.
Yeah, it started expanding outside of the sports realm, and
Yeah, right.
once you get to the point of new stuff being added, the community kind of gets an idea of something. Whether or not it's true or not is a different story.
Yeah, I hope with this video, like we're able to kind of like we can kind of help community members like have a better idea and kind of help put to rest some of the ideas, more of the negative ideas that people have as to what game changers are, who they are, or why they're chosen to be a game changer. And there's different levels of game changers, and not just popular YouTubers or Twitch streamers. There's people who just make content, people who put up videos on YouTube or take awesome screenshots or do really cool cinematics or weapon overviews. I mean, they write really cool blog posts for their communities. I mean, like EA has different levels of game changers, but the game changers that the community hears most about are the smaller groups of people that are brought in to actually meet with developers and talk with them and give feedback. And so, like Eric, you and I were brought in for Battlefield Hardline like around like November or so of like 2014.
I think that's about right.
Of 2000 what, and like we got to play like the single player, or more portions of the single player. We got to play the multiplayer, and really sit down and give feedback to the developers and tell them like what we didn't like, what we did like, what we think the community was going to enjoy. And I think overall, like the program works very, very well. Unfortunately, the only thing that the community hears about is, they know that people are giving feedback, and then they kind of see the outcome. And if it's not what they like, they automatically throw it at game changers and say, well, it's your fault.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the problem with that is that we're there for feedback. We're there to give a fresh set of eyes. We don't code. We don't have any say in weapon balance. We don't see the back end data, which allows for weapon balance to take place.
Yeah, like I mean, like we'll tell even in Star Wars Battlefront, we told them hey, spawns are good, spawns are bad. We think that the grenade spams is a little too much. You should probably tone that down. Or things like the ATST, even like with Hardline, for example, with the RPGs. I know that there's feedback that's given, and just sometimes it's not what the developer is looking at that time, or like that wasn't the overall direction they wanted to go. So certain feedback can be given, but then just never implemented.
Exactly. You got to look at the fact that some of the feedback that we give, it may not be just a time feasible thing. Like we may not have time. Like if it's a giant feature, you're not going to have time to implement a brand new feature in the short amount of time, because we're not there a year after development. We're there usually within a year of release.
Right.
And doing that type of thing, like there's only so much we can give feedback on. We can't say, hey, we think this new feature needs to be implemented. There's just not enough time left in development to even try to say something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, and I mean, overall, I mean, I think the Game Changer program as a whole is fantastic, and anyone can get involved. It's not just, again, these top level content creators, YouTubers, streamers. It's more than that. It's moderators, even just community members are brought in. There's a whole spectrum of people that are utilized for game changers and for these feedback sessions. so that it's not just critique to one set of player, if you will. You know, I mean, like certain people are going to go in with the mindset of like what they like, and then you have to counterbalance that with other people and what they like. So to have a whole array of different styles of people and players and walks of life. And I think EA realizes that, and they know that you just can't have just this one type of person come in with feedback, because then you wouldn't have a well-rounded game. But unfortunately, like that's the community's mindset of game changers. That's what it is. It's just it's this one YouTuber, and it's their fault. That's not true. I mean, at the end of the day, it still is on the developer's shoulders to make sure that this game is good and it's ready for release, and that people are going to want to play it. It's us giving feedback is just something that is very helpful for them. Because when you look at something over and over and over again, you kind of get blinders. You have these blinders on. You don't see it. You don't see what other people are seeing. So when you bring fresh eyes in, and I've heard developers a handful of times, and I'm sure you have as well, Pool Shark, you've heard them go, I didn't notice that, or oh wow, I didn't really even think of that. So I think that's one of the big things that Game Changers does, is you bring all these fresh eyes in and really help kind of show the developers things that they might not have seen.
Yeah, plus you've got, let's see, for Battlefield 1, we have Drunks, who is a competitive player. He brings in a whole fresh set of eyes into something that people like, say, Level Cap or myself may not even see.
Right. And then you have just normal community members that, they might do something else, or like, they might want to try to organize a tournament of some sort. So, they relay that information to the UI guys. And they're like, hey, it'd be really cool if we had the ability to maybe, do X, Y, and Z within the game, and that'd be really cool. Or, someone like Purdue, who makes beautiful screenshots. It'd be really cool if I had these options X, Y, and Z within spectator mode. Like there's so many different things that these guys give feedback on. It's not just on gun balance. It's not just on game mechanics or how vehicles work and things like that. It's much more, and it's so much more in depth. And unfortunately, like we can't talk about like 3/4 of the stuff that we get to do and see and talk about. A lot of the people just know that the Game Changer program exists, and this is what we kind of do. But there's so much more that's involved with Game Changers.
Exactly. We're not there to make the game. We're there to give ideas that they may not have seen, that we think would help based on feedback from our communities. Like I take what I see from the forums and other community-based arrangements, and you see what you have from your stream and what your fans like. So we're not only bringing what we like, we're bringing what we see on a day-to-day basis, playing these games normally anyway.
Right. I mean, and unfortunately, like not everybody can be involved in this, and then and people are going to be like, well, why? Why can't I be involved in this? And then you kind of see like what's going on, like right now, like there's leaks and stuff that are happening. So like not everyone can be brought in, but there are people that are being cycled through, and there's new people that are always joining these programs. So if it's something that you're interested in, like you should definitely reach out to the community manager of the title that you're interested in working with. This Battlefield, reach out to Jeff Braddock or Dan Mitri. If you're looking for, the EA is working on so many different titles, and they have game changers for almost all of them. So if it's something that you're really interested in doing, you want to help the development process out, I implore you to definitely go and reach out to your community manager and just see if something like that is available. Let them know that you're interested in it.
Exactly. You can see with the Battlefield program, it went from less than 50 people to probably well over 500 or so now.
Oh yeah.
And these people, there's opportunity to move up based on your level of just trust and your level of candor and responsibility. And the more you do, the better and more opportunities you have.
Most definitely.
So yeah, I think that's a pretty good overview of what the Game Changer program is and what we don't do. So
yeah, we don't make the game.
Yeah.
We don't code it. We don't do any of that. Like at the end of the day, it's definitely you have to realize that it's the developers who push that. Like, yes, we've given feedback, but our hands and eyes have never touched or seen code.
Yeah, we don't sit down. We don't say, "Hey, UI guy, get out of my way. Let me sit down here and fix this for you." That's not our job.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that covers everything. And
Yeah.
like we said, if you want to get into this program, contact a community manager. There's Battlefield. There's Sports. EA Sports is doing it
Yep.
pretty big. They're expanding as well. And just contact those community managers and try to get into it, because it's really a great program, and it offers a lot of unique opportunities for if you're trying to get into the industry, if you're trying to become a content creator, to see through it, basically video games through a different eye.